All right, so we're gonna be talking about Mortal Kombat 4 / Gold. This is the Gold version. So let's check this out. So the reason why I'm using this one because it's just, to be perfectly honest, it's the easiest one to be made available. Because the PC version MK4 is kind of dinky to load up. And yeah, so it's just faster to load up the Gold version on the good old EMU. So we'll just what I don't know, what do you think? Maybe that one perhaps. So I want to discuss this thing that I see going around about Mortal Kombat 4 being part of the 3D era. Right? Yeah, we're gonna have this conversation. Even the dogs are excited about this conversation. So anyway, now I know people will go, well, the 3D era. They go, oh, it's part of the 3D era because the character models are in 3D. It's part of the 3D era because the characters can move in 3D, and that is true. They are 3D models. They do move in 3D, either forward or back, but there are some. You got to remember that the 3D era, the true 3D era, is radically different to the actual the MK4 / Gold. Hell, the test bed for MK4 was War Gods, if anyone remembers that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that actually did have. I think it had free movement, but he also had the ability to dodge roll forward, like into the background or to the foreground, right? So it was like a big dive, whereas in this one, it's very sort of like, very fast, very quick. But people go, oh, well, it's got to be, just like it's a 3D game, like 3D models, slight movement in 3D, so it's kind of like 2.5, if you will. So therefore, it's a 3D game. It's not. Not in the 3D era sense. The 3D era sense was basically exactly like how a Virtual Fighter or a Tekken plays, where you have full control of your character moving freely anywhere in any direction on the stage, right? That's how. Oh, sorry. Well, maybe not even, because I think Tekken is locked. I think, yeah, it is. Tekken is locked. At least the older games are, right? But in say something like Virtual Fighter, Dead or Alive, whatever, these games allow you to move in full 3D. The 3D era games allow you to move in full 3D. You can move forward, you can move back, you can move any which way but loose, okay? But you can't in MK4 or in MK Gold because you are still locked on an axis. When you swap on that axis, even though you can dodge mechanics, right? And you can dodge mechanics in 2D fighters. It doesn't make them 3D, right? Hell, if you go all the way back to, I think it's Fatal Fury, Fatal Fury, you have mechanics in there that could actually allow you to change lanes. So you could either go into the foreground or the background, but that doesn't mean to say that made them a 3D game because you're moving outside of the standard 2D plane. You're still locked into the 2D plane. You're still locked into the 2D plane on MK4. But people, I think, generally they look at the 3D models and go, oh yeah, it's obviously, a 3D game, right? And it's not. Okay, there are some also big differences as well. Obviously, we have the run button. Okay, that's still part of the 2D era, which is why this game is being included in the Legacy Collection. At least MK4 is. The dial-in combos are also can only be done when you're on top of the character, meaning that if I try and do his forehead, I can't do it. It just does standard, like, normal attacks, right? But if I'm up close, it recognizes that I'm on top of the character and it allows me to do it, okay? So that is also part of the 2D era. You could say, if you wanted to be very generous, and say that this was some sort of like, I mean super light, I mean like flea's dick hair light version of the 3D era, but that'd be pushing it, man. Like, that would be absolutely pushing it, okay? Because it's absolutely, there's just I've never seen it that way at all, because the way it handles the speed, all right, the movement, the way that the combos are done, right, it's all still reminiscent of the 2D era. It's just that what they did is they created 3D models, they put them in a 3D space, so you can, in theory, right, move them around to dodge attacks and stuff like that, in that space. But no, it's definitely not, you know, it's definitely not a what I would consider a 3D game, because like I said, that obviously run button, we got the combo system, the game speed, the way it feels, just even the sort of, like, it doesn't feel as accurate as the 2D era, but it's still a hell of a lot more accurate. And you can't do combos, you know, like you can't do essentially like shadow combos unless you're actually touching the person. Like, there's no way to do them outside of, you know, being right on top of them, which is actually the way that I actually prefer to it's actually the way I prefer to do combos in Mortal Kombat. Okay, because once they adopted the Tekken scheme, or the Virtual Fighter scheme, or the Dead or Alive scheme, where you can do combos without touching the opponent, you can just start tapping the dial-in combo without touching them, that's when I thought everything fell apart. I don't like it. I know there's obviously a portion of MK fans that probably, and this is what I was asking Mike the other day, does he think that, you know, there's a portion of MK fans that were really hoping that Mortal Kombat would move into 3D because that was their preferred way of play, and that's probably true. But for me, as a classic Mortal Kombat player, no way, no, absolutely no way under any circumstances do I like that. And you'll notice here too with the combos, just watch the angle on the final kick, right? It's kind of, it's kicking them towards the camera, right? And then the camera pans, right? There is no full 3D movement. When we say 3D movement, we are obviously talking about proper, you know, three-dimensional movement, gameplay, that sort of thing. Like I said, obviously you do have the, you know, the dodging mechanics, but that you can still have that in a 2D game, and it not be an issue like at all. But I do see this a lot. I do see a lot of, and I've seen it over the... They're so loud, right? They sound so loud in my head. I don't know if you guys can hear them, right? But I've seen this a lot over the years, and ever since the Legacy Collection, I've been seeing this a lot as well, where, you know, people are going, oh, well, you know, if they've got MK4 in there, then clearly, you know, the Deadly Alliance should be in there and stuff like that. Even the buttons are different. We have high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, right? Like the way everything is done is very reminiscent, obviously, of the 3D era. Sorry, of the 2D era. You don't have that in the 3D era, because the 3D era, they changed that like completely. Okay, so I don't know why they're so agitated. So this is so agitated, my girls, right? So even the button layouts are exactly the same. Okay, and it will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun to actually. It'll be a lot of fun to actually like do these, like play these games online against people, because I've never done that before. But yeah, it is pretty interesting to see that people think that just because we have 3D models, there's a partial 3D space that we're moving in. And when I say partial, I know obviously we can move in the 3D space. This whole area is available for movement, but it's not free movement. The combat system is different. We don't have the run. The way the combos are done are different. The game speed is different as well. Like, this is lightning fast, man. Like, this is really lightning fast. So, it's just crazy. I remember too, just as an aside, I remember in MK4, they added in just a standard throw, and then they also added in a bone-breaking type throw as well, which was kind of cool. You know, it was just something different. So, but it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this game plays online. Also interesting, and I hope that we do get Mortal Kombat Gold as an announcement as well. But, yeah. It is. I'm sorry to disappoint, but it's definitely not a 3D era game. Not even close. You know, like I said, it might be like I might be looking through the very thick glass to the 3D era, but it definitely isn't. To me, it definitely isn't. So, but anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.